All right, we got another resume review. This one is from a good friend of mine, Manny. We have some history, we've done some content together, and this is a resume that actually got an interview for a FlyQuest position. I believe a general management position or a team management position. He can correct me because he's in chat right now. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, go check the Twitch channel, linked in the episode description. If you want more resume reviews, go to the episode description or the YouTube description. I have a Discord. The link is there, and I will be taking resumes in the Discord, trying to create a community, bring people together to help each other that are in the esports industry or trying to get in the esports industry. Because let's be real, this grind is really, really hard. We need people alongside us to make it happen because this grind is so impossible and so depressing by yourself. Let's get to the resume. What do we do? First thing with resumes, we look at the whole thing, first impressions. Okay, Manny. The colors are intense. This is a really vibrant red, and it's actually really hard to look at. I do not like the red. But since you got an interview, the content must be really good. So this is for a management position at FlyQuest. I think a team manager position, like I said. I know what you are doing right away. That's really cool. Professional skills right there, personal skills. A list of things, contact information, references, profile. I love that this is a summary and it's not too long. It's really easy to read. It's also like very nicely organized. There's a bit of text, but the text isn't like crammed and overwhelming. So I'm not very intimidated by it, but I think I would like to see, especially with these like long paragraphs, like maybe a separation between bullet points, because I don't know. I can't really easily see what's going on here and where to start if I'm skimming, especially like this. This is actually 6 different bullet points, but it looks like a long paragraph. So it's a bit confusing. It's very hard to skim. You want your resume to be very easy to skim. And information here. Okay, cool. I think it's an okay resume. It's just the red is super, super intense. It's actually really hard to look at. Okay, so I'm going to look at your profile first. Extremely motivated to constantly develop my skills and grow professionally. I'm confident in my ability to work in a fast-paced environment. Great understanding of how to communicate properly with different people and departments as needed. I want to work on making sure the players in our team are able to do their best, not just in game, but also in life. So that's a nice, touching, like personality statement. I really like that. It shows that you care. You're not a robot. Also, by the way, this is not a standard page, which is really odd to me too. And I know you're not US based, so maybe there's a different standard there. But that's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about that. So because it's distracting already, I would heavily consider having a standard page, maybe at least for the country that you're applying for. And this is a topic that I want to get into if I have time. The company is not interested in what they can do for you. The company is interested in what you can do for them. So extremely motivated to constantly develop my skills and grow professionally. So is it my responsibility as a company to help you do that? It's nice to see that you're these things, but I don't know if you put it in here like that. The first thing, and then I'm confident in my ability to work in a fast-paced environment. So that is not convincing me. That's just you trying to sell yourself, not convincingly sell yourself to me. I think a stronger start would be great understanding of how to communicate properly with different people and departments as needed. I want to work on making sure the players in our team are able to do their best, not just in game, but also in life. Like, I think either of those sentences are stronger starts because they're about you and what you can provide to me as a company, right? So I think that's a big focus here. So think about what is your number one important thing that sells you to the company for this position as a team manager, and how are you going to help me with that, right? So maybe it's like, I know this is not it, but it's like, oh, with my psychology degree in maybe my psychology degree with a minor in communication, I'm able to really bring a cohesive understanding of players and uniting them and being able to motivate them in certain ways. Like that could be like a very convincing one if that was true. For you, proving that you can understand and communicate properly with different people and departments. That's like really, really important. And then making sure that the players are number one and your priority is on them and making their life great. Ooh, I don't know if you can hear my stomach growling. That is also a really good thing. So I think those are the things that you put up in front. All right, going to experience. Assistant coach manager, Southern Collegiate Gaming. So these two, even though this is present, this should be in past tense. It's just standard for resume. Supervised, ensured, partnered, managed, assessed. Okay, so create a program that has a main focus on academic success while also enhancing student skills and sportsmanship. That's cool. That tells me what you did. Oh, that's confusing because this comma is really small. So I thought that was a period, and because again the bullet pointing is not there, it was hard. Maybe even just putting a space between it. You got to like prioritize information and make it really easy, clear to skim through again. Prepared, maintained, and accurately scheduled facility. I might even take out accurately because it's just fluff. Like it, show me that you've done it accurately rather than just tell me. Prepared, maintained, and scheduled facilities for practices, games, and meetings in collaboration with other departments, staff, and staff, members. I don't know. That's weird grammatically. That's not needed there. Okay, so I kind of take back my comment where you have to maybe show this because again, this is just like listing your responsibilities, and that's okay. I want to see impact here. I don't see impact. You're just telling me what you've done, and I'm not convinced that you've done it and how good you are at it, right? If you're able to do that, that takes us up to the next level. How would I do that, though, is the question. Tell me how many people, how many teams you worked with. Maybe like what are the policies that you implemented that really were creative or important that created the most impact? Maybe that's the way, because maybe you can't really put numbers into this, but you got to figure out, I think there's a way to quantify the impact in a non-numbers way. Okay. Freelance journalist, video editor. You're doing this currently with a company. Edit videos informing viewers of the latest in League of Legends. Okay, that's you can edit videos. That's what I'm getting from there. Write SEO focused website articles about competitive gaming. I know SEO is super important. Okay, research and fact check information for videos. Use social media to share all published content efficiently. Write scripts for videos and give all necessary information. Voiceover information, informative videos following the script provided. So, as a manager, how does this help me? It's good to know that you're doing things. So I think that's important. So maybe there's a way you put that all into one bullet point that like, oh, creating content, keeping up with the latest League of Legends information, like when it comes to strategy. Yeah, I think that's the only thing I would maybe be interested in, even if you're doing like more content about new skins, new champion releases, those like news. But what I would be interested in, I think, is like how familiar you are with maybe that works. Yeah, I want a little more detail about just like what in League of Legends you're specifically like covering. I probably don't care about SEO stuff. The research is good because it's detailed. Social media is probably not that important. Scripting is probably not that important. Yeah, this is weird because like I think the point of this is to show that like you're working, you're organized, and you are keeping up with League of Legends. So that means you'll be relatable to the players and just like what's going on in the whole atmosphere of League of Legends esports. I would omit everything else that's not that, and if you want to put that in there, get it in like very generally and impactful. Like I would say maybe like creating content that's netting over this many views, but this might be a small website. I'm not really sure. Yeah, especially when it comes to content, getting traction and numbers to accentuate and to validate how strong your content is important, I would say. And I think you could put that all in like one thing. And then again, just make sure you come across that like League of Legends. But this is a little just bullet pointy, really quick. Like this is what I've done. So it's nice, but it's not impactful. It's not like very drawing to me. General manager at radio station. And I might even put radio station there in case they just don't realize that this is a radio station. Manage okay, there's a big number. That's important. Put that up top. So like that's very relatable to this job. Assess student learnings related to time management, creativity, teamwork. Okay, so that's important. Supervise departments and approximately that many members. That's cool. That's important. I would put this up there. Manage the budget to determine expenditures among the radio station. That's really good too. This is good too, but not as important as the first two. These 2 bullet points. This is also important because you need to coordinate with like Riot and other people for the team managers. So this is a really long sentence to say something simple. Instead, make it long to maybe talk about the impact and the scope of the partnerships. This one, I don't understand what this assess student learnings related to. I don't really get what that is. Like, are you helping other people do that? Are these things that you focused on? These are the skills that you built from this? I'm really confused at that, and it seems a little fluffy. Seems a little forced. Education. You went to a college. That's cool. That's really good. This Korean course. Like, why didn't you just tell me that you took like a level 3 Korean course? Because is someone going to know what Korean 25 course is? That's really confusing to me. I wanted very, very obvious. And it's cool that you did it. And maybe this is like an English teaching course. Like, I'm not exactly sure. So I think this is really huge because players in NA or teams in NA have Korean imports. So like, that's really good. Like, so tell me that like, you know Korean. Tell me you've learned a little bit of Korean. Like, this doesn't say it right off the bat. I want to be told that. In conclusion, I think this is a pretty good resume. It obviously, like you said, got you an interview with FlyQuest because you've definitely shown like you have these bullet points of responsibilities and experience that a team manager would have. I think what would increase your chances of an interview is putting in the impact that's missing in this resume. I think also working on the summary to really hook better by just prioritizing the sentences that are up in front and taking out the fluff. And then also making this a lot easier to skim through because they might not quickly be able to see that you're qualified or that you have the experiences because these look like huge paragraphs rather than like separate sentences that should be bullet pointed. So maybe even putting space between each sentence, adding just bullet points, which I'm like very big fan of, would also help. So, but good. Solid resume, Manny. Okay, I want to compare that to your second resume. How much time? What time is it? Okay, 10. I'm going to give this like 3 minutes. Content creator. So this is different. This one was for team management. This is for content creation. So personal profile. Proficient and detail-oriented. I'm a content creator that involves myself in as much as possible. That's a little bit weird verbiage, but that's technically okay. So I would actually change that up a little bit. Video editing, podcasting, even production are some aspects I've done in the past. That's also a weird phrase to use. It's not, it's like, oh, you know, I probably am, I'm detail oriented and proficient. And I probably have some things that would make me a good content creator for this position. Like, it doesn't feel very like straightforward and impactful. Also like the color scheme a lot. The organization is really, really clean too. Examples of your work. I'm guessing those were censored. I always like examples. Always put examples. Always link out to them. I see some weird inconsistencies when you say you're detail-oriented with the bullet pointing. There's spaces after this bullet, and there's not spaces after these bullets. This font is different, so that's confusing. Yeah, there's inconsistencies, so that worries me, especially when you say you're detail-oriented. What do I want from a content creator? I would want someone that's probably proactive, that has the technical skills, so put in those skills in here, which is not communication first, not maybe collaboration, but I want to see like, oh, do you have Premiere Pro, Adobe Suite, DaVinci, podcasting, languages. So yeah, I think this needs to be organized a little bit better when it comes to like what's important, right? Freelance editor, new egg, that's a big deal. Golden Guardians, that's a big deal. ESTNN, some people know about that. All right. Produce Twitter content cut from final edit of video. Make sure it fits the desired brand guidelines. So, okay, cut down 4 hours of multi-cam stream into an enjoyable sub-hour experience, ensuring continuity and fluidity in final product. Follow brand protocol. Okay, there's also an empty bullet point here. Follow brand protocols and make any necessary changes to final video to fit necessary sponsored deliverables. So I think you're downplaying a lot of what you're able to do, because you're talking about like, oh, yes, I made this thing, but it wasn't like the full thing. I didn't start from the beginning. I kind of made it from like these weird, like, you're downplaying your stuff. Just say like you repurpose long form content to fit on Twitter to bring 10% increased audience to the YouTube video. That gives me impact. That shows me that you're successful, and that doesn't downplay what you've done. Cut down 4 hours of multicam stream into an enjoyable sub-hour experience. Enjoyable is kind of weird. Ensuring continuity, fluidity, and the final product. Like everything you create should be have continuity and fluidity as an editor and content creator. So this one feels weird to me. I'd rather you say like, hey, cut down a podcast into a sub-hour experience. Not even experience. Yeah, something's weird there. And I feel like you're covering up like a lack of video editing for Newegg, which kind of worries me. Freelance producer. Produce Twitter content around our legal edge. Okay, by the way, it's not just Twitter. This is on Instagram too, by the way. So I would just say social media. Produce social media content around our League of Legends team, primarily behind the play. Edit videos and drafts for the content team to visualize potential new series or pieces. Write SEO focused content and pitches for the team, and keep on track with trends and memes following esports and social media. Again, this is just a list of things that you've done. Like, especially if we're talking about content creator, and that's not a fluffy content creator, I would say like you need to come up with original ideas that are engaging, that fit the audience, and that you have a lot of forethought and figuring out how to create it from beginning to end, right? I think you've done that in here, but it's not convincing. Like, what does produce mean, right? And you've done some really important and things for that. Like, you outlined it, you combed through footage to figure out what's the best way, and to get it into a very concise storytelling moment in a very short amount of time without narration and just visual cues, right? So like there's a huge challenge behind the play, and that is not at all like figured out here. So I think that's where you're leaving a lot on the table that's not there in the Behind the Play series. A lot of this is just also just the to-dos, not really talking about impact that much. Okay, gotcha, Manny. This is an old resume and you haven't gotten that far into that job. Freelance journalist video editor. Edit videos informing viewers on the latest of League of Legends. Research SEO focused website articles about competitive gaming. Research and fact check. So again, these are just a list of things that you've done, which is good, but I want to see impact. Like it's fine if you give a list of how you are involved in some projects, but I want to see some impact of what you've done. I think we see similar issues between these two. I think this one is a little less convincing when it comes to content creation. And again, it could be job specific. If they're just looking for a video editor, I mean, I might even put just, you know what? And maybe you censored this, but I think your name is more important. You put your name, fix this personal profile because it's not impactful, add impact and like depth into these. Don't just list your job requirements and responsibilities. Cool. Thanks, Manny.